Hey guys, welcome back to my channel for an all new episode recap of today's Days of Our Lives, May 2nd, 2025. So we start off with Kristen and Brady. So Brady is about to take Rachel to her regular therapy sessions, and Kristen doesn't feel like it's working out for her. She feels as if there's no progress going on. So Brady said it needs more time, and she said that there's a lot going on, and he said that he needs to go to the meeting because he has some calls to make or something to do at Basic Black. So Kristen tried to ask him for a favor to put in a good word to Xander and Philip for her to, get a position there now that the Mary and Titan are joined together. So he said, like I told Gabby before, because I tried to tell Gabby that, look, even though if I want to help, which I really don't, I can't do that. I'm tied up with my own family business. I got my own thing going on, so I don't really want to get mixed up in the HR thing. So yeah, I can't help you. So anyways, he asked her to go get Rachel, and yeah, that was really it. So Marlena and Belle are talking about John, and she's asking Marlena about any updates on John, and Marlena said that they're still trying to track him down. So Belle is just hoping that things work out, on that end. So they start to talk about, sending out positive energy, not only for that, but for Johnny, because Johnny's going through a lot, given everything that he's recently heard and that the adoption fell through. And you know they're just hoping that Johnny will come around, that he will, reconcile with his father, and him and Chanel can really work on getting the family that they deserve. So, Marlena is thankful that EJ is alive so that that can happen. And Bella is also happy about that. She also tells Marlena that EJ is trying to be a better man, which I really don't buy, but she's selling that story to Marlena, and Marlena said, is he trying to change for Johnny or for you? So Belle tried to put it off like it's just for Johnny. And she said, she talked to Sammy, and Sammy told her about Belle actually telling EJ while he was in the coma that she actually have deep feelings for him and that she loved him. So she's trying to deflect and trying to push it off like he was in a coma and she was just saying that because of that. But Marlena said, you need to be stop doing that. You got to stop deflecting, like own up to your feelings. So she said after a while that yes, she definitely loves him. She thought that she was supposed to hate him. He was supposed to get the karma that he's there after her, and so much people that she cared about, she loved. And she can't seem to hate him at all. She definitely is drawn to him. She has these strong, intense feelings for him, and she definitely told him while he was there at the bedside. And when he woke up, thanks to Susan telling him beforehand, she had to just come clean and tell him. So she asked her how EJ felt about that. So she said that, EJ received it warmly and he's happy to hear that. And, they're just seeing where things go. And he knows that her family is going to give her grief for being in love with him. But Marlena said that she's proud of her for just being honest to her about her feelings for him. And love is just love. Can't help who you love. And she is seemed to be supportive of it, right? So Sophia's mom is there, and she was able to catch her before her shift and ask her, like, hey, what's the hold up with the papers? Like, did everybody sign? So Sophia said it's falling through because everybody has signed except Johnny. Johnny doesn't want to go through with it for whatever reason. So now we're back at square one trying to find another family to adopt the baby. So Mrs. Choi is saying, listen, this is a sign like maybe God wants you to raise your baby on your own with Tate. Like, how I feel about you actually looking up an agency. I don't really trust them. At least Johnny and Chanel were a part of Tate's family. I could at least trust them. But now that that's not happening. Like, maybe it's best that you consider that. So Sophia is whining and complaining about how it's messing up her plans to go to college and all that other things. She want a career. Like, Sophia, at the end of the day, like, you and Tate made this grown-up decision to sleep together as teenagers. At the end of the day, you should know that, okay, you make that decision, babies are gonna come. Like, you do this thing unprotected, there's a chance that the baby's gonna come. You gotta, like, put whatever selfishness or feelings aside and take care of your child. Like, that's your responsibility. At some point, you gotta have responsibilities, right? It can't be how you want it anymore. So you gotta put that aside. And furthermore, like, it doesn't stop. There's many people that have kids and like go to school and still pursue a career. It's possible, right? It's just that you got to do some adjustments, right? So at some point she starts hyperventilating, and she's feeling lightheaded, and she ended up going to the hospital, right? So Xander is there, and he's liking working at home because he really doesn't want to be around Philip. So he tells Sarah the latest development with that, and that Wei Shin wants them to work together. He doesn't want the secret to come out because of what's at stake there, the Demira and the Titan merging, right? So Sarah said maybe it's for the best. Philip Xander saying, look, he was able to tolerate Philip and his habits, but this is just betrayal, and he just really wants him to just, leave, not to be seen ever again. Just, he wants him gone permanently. So he's thinking about revenge in the worst way. And Sarah reminded him of how that went with Brady. And he said, like, at least Brady, it turned out not to be true. And I did apologize to him. But like Philip, low down, and he did what he did. Like, there's no if ands or buts around it, right? So Sarah said maybe we can just ease him out, and Xander doesn't want that, right? Xander wants him to pay, right? Xander doesn't want to ease him out. Xander wants him to be really miserable, right? So anyway, she reminds him of what he has going on apart from that. Like, he has a great family, he has a house, he has a great job. And it took his mind off of it, took his mind onto providing for his daughter, and giving her, I guess, what was it, a Shetland pony or something like that. So she was able to distract him. And you know they went out. I guess he was there to just walk her to work because she has a shift. He wanted to have some late lunch or dinner with her, so she said she had a shift, so he ended up walking her. So while they were walking through the square, that is when Sophia was going through that problem, and Sarah was able to bring her to the hospital. So EJ is back at home and he's recovering. And on yesterday's episode, we do see a footage of Johnny there with the gun, holding it at EJ. We didn't see it go off, but it's pointing likely to Johnny being the one that shot his own father. It could be somebody else based on that the part of the clip was cut out. I mean, we still didn't rule it all completely, but it's leading towards him. I think it's somebody else now that I see the footage, right? So anyways, Rita comes out, his, loyal, noble Rita comes out, and she's wondering why he's not up in bed. He said that he's good right there, and she's just being the doting assistant that she is, right? Our henchwoman at this point, because they've done more than just professional things, right? So anyways, Kristen comes in, and Kristen sees them, being all chummy, and she's saying, oh, look at that, like, I can tell that you're a lot more loyal to him than you really are to me or to anybody else, right? When it comes down to EJ, you're a lot more loyal. I mean, you're loyal to all except for those children, but it's a bigger range of loyalty for him. So she didn't dignify that with an answer. EJ comes out to get his pain meds, and she cornered Rita and asked her about, she helped EJ with getting rid of Arnold Vinegar, and she asked her about if she was the one who helped with her mom being gone, right? So she said, like, I would never do that. So she said, maybe you've paid somebody to go handle it. So she was trying to get an answer out of her. She also was trying to see what she knew about the whole Demir Titan thing, because she has not been fired from Demir at all. I guess they need somebody who knows the insides of the business there, right? So she was trying to get into Rita's mind to see, okay, what was going on there, but she was unsuccessful. EJ comes back in, and Kristen wasn't able to get the answers that she needed, so that's when she left, right? So EJ gives Rita this memory card to dispose of, right? It's probably that one that has Johnny in it. I guess he has to protect his son regardless of whatever he did to him, right? So speaking of Johnny, right? So Johnny has he receives a loud knock at the door. He's at the Salem Inn, and he thinks it's Chanel. And I'm saying Chanel is not gonna bang that loud, right? So it's Tate, and Tate just knocks him out like that, flat out. And I'm saying, we can't talk through things. We have to be emotionally driven and like punch people in the face. And I said, I'm sorry, Johnny didn't punch him back. But anyways, Teddy's like, you're lucky that's all I did to you. Like, how could you play around with people's lives and all of that? And Johnny was trying to explain, and he was like, you playing around people's life, and I know I'm a teenager and I know I have to own up to my responsibilities. I'm like, Tate, really? Did you own up to your responsibilities by taking the cop out and just like giving the baby up for adoption without actually trying to grow up and raise this child with Sophia? But anyways, he says that, Johnny is an adult and he, needs to grow the hell up and all that. And said all you guys need to grow the hell up. But anyways, he was saying that, you ruined a lot of lives, and it's not about you where you're entitled and you have all this money. So Johnny explains to him that, look, I just recently learned some news about my father, and it changed the whole thing. Me and Chanel were on board to adopt this baby, and things changed once I heard that news. And I feel like, whatever my father did to my mom, like, it's in me too, and I don't want to, project that onto the baby. So Tate is saying that, look, you're not your father, you're better than that, you're my cousin, and I think you're really awesome. Like, don't think like that, right? So anyways, Johnny's saying, I'm sorry about that, anything that I can do. So Tate said, besides adopting her baby, there's nothing you really can do, right? So at this point, Tate hears Tate gets a call from Mrs. Choi about Sophia, and that's when he rushes off. He did send a voicemail to Holly telling her the latest about the adoption falling through and that he would talk to her, right? So Brady's at the hospital. He had a racial therapy session. He and Marlena gets to talking, and he tells Marlena about John, and just that he's worried about him. And he knows that yes, he has a lot on his plate, but Marlena has a lot more, and they're both just hands tied. They wish they could do more, but they understand that the ISA is doing everything they can to help John come home, right? So he talks about Kristen thinking that Rachel's therapy session is not working, she's not progressing, and Marlena suggesting that they come together as a family and do the therapy session together. So Belle comes over to the mansion and she sees Brady and Kristen, and they're asking what she's doing here. So she says she's here to see EJ with that cunning smile on her face. So Kristen is rolling her eyes and I'm with her and that. So anyway, she talks to Brady and she's sorry to hear that adoption fell through, and if there's anything that she can do, she's here for him. So anyways, she leaves and she go check on EJ. That was a point when Brady did bring Rachel home, and Kristen could tell that Rachel doesn't like the therapy session, and Brady's disagreeing with her, and she's saying that she has a lot on her mind. So she said, yeah, like her parents are fighting, and it's a lot going on with EJ being shot and the grandmother being disappeared and everything. So at this point, like, she has a lot going on, and she's suggesting maybe we need to go out as a family, go to the bistro or whatever. So at that time, Brady got a call and said that call from Tate saying that Sophia's in hospital, so he had to leave abruptly. So back to Belle and EJ. Belle is checking on him, and she's surprised to see him out of the hospital. So he said that he will recover better here. He has a full-time nurse that he hired. So anyways, he talks about this memory card that he saw planted there, and he's accusing Belle first if she did it. She said that she knew she wore a white hat, but she didn't do that. She swore, she swears that she didn't do it, and he believes her. But he just, she's asking who, you didn't have any idea who would plant it there. He said no idea. So anyways, she's glad to be there, and he appreciates her being there, and he's just worried about Johnny and reconcile with him. So she said Johnny has a lot going on, but knowing her nephew, he is going to come around, and just gotta really give him some time. So he rests on her shoulder, and he has this nightmare of Johnny again, and she asks him what's going on, and he didn't tell her, right? So anyways, back to Johnny. Johnny's out of the cinema and he sees Xander, and Xander's like, yeah, somebody visiting there. So he said no. So he's like, is the house up for sale? Yeah, I know that we took over the mirror, but I didn't think it would affect the house. So it's like, I really don't care either way about the company or the house or my father. Like, he's dead to me. I wish the house would crumple down with him inside of it. So, he's just expressing his feelings as, bad as it is. So, Xander is like, oh, wow. Didn't know you had it out for your old man like that. Says like, yeah, I really don't care what happened to him, right? So Xander said, how would you like to work for, the merit side of the company, right? So we already know that Johnny doesn't have a job, and I think he would take it just to stick it to his father some more, just to put some more salt in the wound, right? At this point, he's walking with a chip on his shoulder, and he needs to deal with his issues, right? He needs to go to either therapy, situate himself, right, and work things out with Chanel, because at this point, like, it's not gonna get better, and the resentment is gonna sink in deeper. Maybe he's the one that did the shooting, and it's gotten out of control, right? So Mrs. Troy, Tate, and Brady are at the hospital. Marlena also comes in because she heard that Sophie was spotted, and Brady said that she's in the hospital room now with Sarah, and she said she's in good, capable hands. So, anyways, so Mrs. Troy fills in Tate about what really happened, and Sarah comes out. So Sarah brings out Sophia, and she tells them that she's okay, the baby is okay. It was just I guess some stress or whatever like that. So Mrs. Troy is saying that she probably shouldn't work. She will not work at the bistro no more. And Sophia's adamant that she still want to keep working. It's not that, it's just that it's messing up her plans and all of that. So Sarah says she's right. Like, you need to be off your feet. You need to be on, some bed rest, right? So she's like, at the hospital. So she said, no, you can be resting at home. So there's no extracurricular activities or nothing that's going to be strenuous or stressful. So she's like, I'm not going to go to the prom. They said, I'm afraid not, right? So she is like, the whole world is crashing down because she's not going to prom. She's not doing this. It's affecting all her dreams and her plans. And, Mrs. Troy is saying that the baby is now probably your dream. And she's like, no, it's not, and all of that. So now she's panicking, and Tate's trying to be there for her. But I'm saying these teenagers are annoying me on this episode because they feel like it's the end all and be all. Like, there's nothing that can change. Like, at the end of the day, you guys made a decision to lie down together. And this is what is the end result. Like, y'all gotta get it together, grow up, and take care of this baby. Like, it is what it is. Many people have done it before, and y'all just need to wake up and grow up. But that is it, guys. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe to my channel, comment below your thoughts on today's episode. I will see you guys next week. Have a great weekend.